Good evening and welcome to the Mount Olive Township Council meeting for October 18, 2016. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for the men and women that serve us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Michelle, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda.
Here.
Mr. Ferrante.
Here.
Mrs. Labow. Mr. Mania.
Here.
Mr. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Roman.
Here.
Mr. Nacastro.
Here. First item is we have 14 resolutions. Anyone? Mr. Roman?
Laura, on number 8, the resolution for the drive sober, get pulled over, crackdown, is any of that funds going to be used for a DUI check? Like,
I
when we-
believe that is what it's for, but I can check with the chief and confirm that for you.
Okay.
Anyone else have anything on any resolutions? None? We have one ordinance. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments on the ordinance?
Nope.
None? Any old business? Seeing none, any new business? Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Closed to the public?
You looked both ways, it was only you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Open the Mount Olive Council Township meeting, council meeting for October 18, 2016. Michelle, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda.
Here.
Mr. Ferrante.
Here.
Mrs. Labow.
Here.
You're Mrs.
I'm sorry, I'm not Mrs. Labow.
If you want to be, it's
At least the
fine.
last time I looked, I
you
was.
Mrs. Labow is not present.
Yeah, not present.
Mr. Mania.
Here.
Mr. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Roman.
And also not Ms. Labow here.
Mr. Nacastro.
Here. Mr. Amianda, would you make a motion to approve the minutes from the public meeting and workshop from October 4th, 2016?
See, I'm reading them, not listening.
Mr. President, I make a motion for approval of the minutes of previous meetings on October 4, 2016, work session and public meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrante.
Abstain.
Mr. Mania.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Abstain.
Mr. Roman.
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro.
Yes. We have 53 pieces of correspondence. Does anyone have any questions on those? Seeing none, I open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 23-2016 entitled An Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Mount Olive to amend Chapter 550 Land Use to rezone certain lands from the LI Light Industrial, L1? Oh, carried. I'm sorry, this was carried from 11/1/2016.
It'll be carried to
Oh, I'm
November
sorry,
1st.
it's being carried to November 1st. So that
It's
makes
being
sense.
carried again because after first reading, when it comes to us, it has to go back to the planning for a review. And then it comes back to us. Once they have reviewed, then they come back to us, and then we can put it on to second reading. So their meeting got canceled, and so now we have to wait till
So we're not going to
November
do
1st.
this.
It'll carry.
Carry over,
yes.
okay, so we're going to carry over ordinance number 23-2016. So with that, I open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 24-2016, an ordinance appropriating $175,150, $140,000 of which is from a grant from the County of Morris, and $35,150 which is from the Open Space Trust Fund for the former Baptist Church Phase 3B project by the Township of Mount Olive in the County of Morris, New Jersey. Who's on there? Let's see. Mr. Ferrante?
Sure, I make a motion to move ordinance number 24-2016
Second.
for adoption and final passage.
Does anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Ordinance number 24-2016 is passed on second reading, and I hereby direct the clerk to forward a copy of the same to the mayor and publish the notices of adoption as required by law. Next item on the agenda for first reading is ordinance number 25-2016, an ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive in the County of Morris, the State of New Jersey, making the provisions of Subtitle 1 of Title 39 with various traffic regulations acceptable to Morris Chase and regulating the use of said roadways, streets, driveways, and parking lots by motor vehicles. Mr. Mania.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that ordinance number 25-2016 be introduced by title and passed on first reading, and that a meeting will be held on November 1st at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Butt Lake, New Jersey, for a public hearing, consideration of second reading, and passage of said ordinance, and that the clerk be directed to publish, post, and make available said ordinance in accordance with the requirements of the law.
Thank you.
Second.
Anyone from the public? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. We have 14 consent resolutions. Does anyone wish to move any to non-consent? Mr. Roman?
I move number 8 to non-consent.
Number 8 to non-consent. Okay. Any others? Okay. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on these? Seeing none, close to the public. Mr. Stewart, would you move resolutions 1 through 7 and 9 through 14?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the consent resolutions 1 through 7 and 9 through 14 be moved for adoption and final passage.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Mr. Roman, we have a motion to move resolution number 8.
I move for approval of non-consent resolution number 8.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Roman?
The reason I move this resolution to the non-consent list is one, I just want to highlight and make sure that it's not just included in our normal agenda. Though I am wholeheartedly a supporter of the police department and all their efforts that they do, I do have an issue with DUI checkpoints. And though they do at times catch people that should not be driving, I think the inconvenience and the overall police state nature of it raises some concern for me. So I just wanted to at least highlight that, bring it up.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
No.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
No.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Mr. Roman, would you move the bill list, please?
I move for approval of the bill list.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Administrative reports, Mayor, Laura?
Monster Mash and Glow Run is still accepting registrations. We have more registrations now than we did last year, so good for recreation. Sweet Pea Flower Shop will be officially opening on Saturday. They're located on Route 46 next to the barbershop, 117 Route 46, Bud Lake. Pastoral Pig will be hosting their official grand opening on Friday, October 21st at 6 p.m. We will be recognized at the League of Municipalities as being a bronze certified township under Sustainable Jersey. And in addition, we are still working on our silver certification. November 2nd at 6:30 at the Regency in Flanders, there will be a wine tasting event for the Lions Club. If anyone's interested in going, you can see me to get tickets. You have anything?
A couple of things. First off, 8 Main Street was sold at auction last week for $17,500. The details of who purchased it and what it's gonna be used for in the monthly report that I sent, I think it was last Friday. Also, I think you noticed we met with the residents of Sunset Drive, just to reassure them that everything's on track. We just had a little communication gap, so we're gonna give them a monthly update, each month, just in case things don't happen as planned, the way they did this time around, so everything is okay there. There was one thing I wanted to run by you all. I was hoping to be able to replace the snowflakes that we put up every year with, something non-electric. We've been having a lot of problems with them. The boxes that they're mounted on were made by a JCP&L employee who's since retired, so they're obsolete. And like I said, I want to do something non-electric, so it's more environmentally friendly and requires less maintenance and less time. We were thinking about something like tinsel candy canes that have kind of glittery, that light would reflect off of them. Maybe some wreaths, possibly putting them up on more poles throughout town. Because we wouldn't be limited to the poles that just have the boxes on them. So they're about $200 a piece. According to the catalog, we might get them for less money. So I just wanted to check with you all and see if it was something that you'd be okay with before I pursued it.
Mr. Rowe?
I mean, I for one like the being lit at night, so I think it's a beautiful visual. How much is it currently costing us if we were to, I'm assuming the boxes need to be replaced with other lit ones?
Well, we can't, the boxes are not replaceable.
Okay,
So, you know, I was kind of trying to be a little proactive before we started losing all of them and get something that wouldn't require any maintenance or any concern that it would eventually become obsolete. And I kind of like the idea of, the candy canes and the wreaths, which would be like non-denominational. And I think because of where they're placed on light poles, you would still get a reflection off them. They would not have the same glow, obviously, than an electric an ornament would, but I just thought it would be a lot less maintenance and a lot less time consuming and possibly more long lasting.
And, but I for one would like to at least have a quantitative number of like what is our current maintenance cost. If it's something, if you're telling me it costs us $100,000, okay, then obviously, I would, have second thoughts. But if it's costing us, I don't know, $10,000, let's just throw a number out there, to purchase, replacement ones that lit up, I'd be more inclined to going for the ones that light up at night. And
Yeah,
I don't know the
it's
rest.
hard to say because it's more a matter of staff time than actual,
I mean, if we had numbers on that, I think it would be extremely helpful.
At least an estimate.
Okay.
Our staff installed the lights, right?
No, we actually hire somebody to install the lights. It's more of time spent on going out and looking at the ones that are supposedly out, contacting JCP&L.
Yeah.
It's, believe it or not, every single day during the holiday season, we have to deal with one light pole or
How many do
another.
we have of those, Laura?
I think we have about 15 now. And what I wanted to do was expand them possibly around Turkey Brook Park, some of the other parks, maybe on, in front of the ShopRite and on 206 and other areas where people actually do go to shop. So it was just a thought. Wanted to run it by you.
Yeah, it's a good thought, but
Mr. Ramiano?
Do we have money in the budget for that?
That's why I'm asking, because we would put it in the budget if it's something that council wanted to pursue.
Mr. Mania?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Lord be with you.
Well, I didn't know if you were on the Christmas.
well, we weren't sure if it was you or your alter ego.
Oh, you thought it was Mrs. Laybow again?
I'm sorry.
Okay. A question for the administration. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we not have a bid out for a generator?
We have a grant for a generator, and we're currently in the process of rebidding it for, I think, or getting the paperwork to bid it for the third time.
Okay.
We've gotten plans and specifications twice from the vendor who's been doing the planning for it. But they haven't been up to legal par, so we have to keep going back to them. I think we're about ready to bid it, though.
Will that be a gas generator or a diesel generator?
It's gonna be gas.
Gas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, and the diesel generators are much more expensive.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other questions? So I guess on the Christmas thing, if you want to come back with some ideas and dollars on both sides, then I guess we can look at that.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Anything else? Administrative, that's it? Okay, thank you. Any old business from anyone? Any new business from anyone? Any legal matters?
Yeah, two items. First, the New Jersey Foreign Trade Zone Venture Settlement that we talked about at the last meeting. That is progressing. We've signed off as you authorized us to. However, the plaintiff is having some trouble finding actual people to sign off for some of the banks that are sort of remotely connected to it, so it's taking a little more time than anticipated. But we expect within the next 30 to 45 days that should be done. The other item, perhaps Laura might want to chime in on, is we'll be participating in a meeting with DEP tomorrow in Trenton regarding the solar project at the landfill. And thank you to Michelle for digging out some old documents that will be very helpful tomorrow. And we're hoping for a very productive meeting to move the project forward. And that's it.
Thank you. Council reports, Mr. Amianda, anything on Board of Ed or seniors?
No report on Board of Education, but I have a report on senior citizens. Now, Mount Olive Senior Citizens Association Club held social meeting today, October 18, 2016. There were about 103 people in attendance. Among the items discussed were seniors' birthdays and wedding anniversaries. They held an indoor Halloween parade from which 3 best dressed in costumes were picked for prizes. Our club president informed members about the upcoming important dates, including Thanksgiving Day on November 24th, 2016, and Seniors Christmas Party on December 25th, I think I corrected that, it's on December 15, and Seniors Christmas Party on December 15, 2016. Seniors were served cupcakes and coffee after adjourning the meeting. Our next seniors meeting is on November 1, 2016. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Mr. Ferrante, anything on Lake Environmental or Library?
Yeah, just on the lake, the Bud Lake Association and the Environmental Commission have expressed concern in regards to the treatment of the lake, the weed treatment. So I know Laura addressed it already with them, but you know, it's been treated throughout the summer, and you know, they're just still concerned about the, I guess, above normal growth of the weeds in the lake. So something we'll address again next year.
Thank you. Mr. Maney, anything on legislative or planning?
Nothing on legislative. Planning board meeting was canceled last week.
Thank
Have
you.
one coming up Thursday.
Board of Health meets tomorrow evening here at 6:30. Tonight, they're holding a certification class in the court, I know, for the all the volunteers and all from all the organizations to get them certified. That's there. Mr. Roman, anything on open space or rec?
Could not make the open space meeting, and Recreation has now, will be meeting next week.
Mr. Stewart, anything on MOTV or community action?
Not on TV, but the CAP panel meets next week.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, close to the public. Council comments. Mr. Amianda?
None.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yeah, just a quick announcement. The Mount Olive Soccer Club has their Halloween tournament this weekend and next weekend, both Saturdays. It's a huge fundraiser for the club. They have over 200 teams that signed up, so expect Turkey Brook and Tint School to be popping this weekend.
Thank you. Mr. Mania?
I just, I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about the the bear that was killed, the one that walked only on two legs in Bergen County.
Pedals.
Pedals his name was,
Black bear.
and he was killed
They did
during,
confirm it was it?
yeah, he was killed during the hunting. And I support the legislation that's being presented for the Stop the Bear Hunt for 5 years. I support it wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Nothing.
Mr. Roman?
I have nothing.
I just want to, just to make a note, and I'm going to send some information out if council and all could share. My wife and I and our family are going to be hosting a Thanksgiving dinner at the Senior Center for needy families and for individuals that are alone. It'll be on Thanksgiving Day. If anyone, I'll send out information if you could share it, or if you know of anyone that is alone or anybody that's in need of food and families and they want to join us, they're welcome to join us.
I
on
applaud the
Thanksgiving
effort.
Day.
That's nice.
Thank you.
I do too, I applaud it.
I'll send that. If you could share it, I'd appreciate that.
Joe
I'll get
will
it
be
out.
cooking, so.
Yeah, I'm
alone
not
this
cooking,
year.
that's okay.
And needy,
have a
and
motion?
needy.
And needy
And
too,
needy,
right? Right.
I don't think they meant needy in that sense.
Oh,
Yeah, right, not in that sense. Less fortunate, let's put it that way.
A motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? See you later. I can't hear anything anymore. I'm tired. It's getting so bad, I can't hear a thing out of this.
Did you got an injury or did it
No, I
slowly?
had a sinus infection, a first ear infection.
Joe, I think that was a record time.
Yeah, close to it, right?
Wow.
Didn't even realize it was a record. We just